Please, the show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Here we go. New Billington in the house.
I like how the music's kind of like peaceful and I'm back here rocking along, and then the countdown is like, pay attention.
That's how I was as a teacher. Lazy River, you come in, hey, how's it going, man? And all of a sudden, hey, it's time to get to work.
Catch everybody off guard. I was just kind of rocking out. It's like, can I have your attention? I was like, I guess I'll pay attention.
There we go. We got a few people on here already. Uh, so yeah, thanks for being on, Steve. I feel like I'm on here every night anymore. My voice is shot.
Hey, you do a lot of these.
Yeah, and hopefully, as the season winds down, we have more time, and as guys are introducing themselves, I'll bring them on here. And there's Trevor Wagner. Met him down in Alabama. He's from Texas. And
What's up,
anyway, so,
Trevor?
yeah, thanks for being on. You guys know Steve Billington. He runs the Trash Panda ID card things. What do you call those?
Uh, Identifiers. Hang on, I got
Identifier.
one.
Yeah, he's got one there.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
always got one
he does
somewhere
that.
around.
Yeah, he's got on the board there.
Bad boys
Those
right
are
there.
so cool, man. And anyway, we're going to talk about. Oh, by the way, you guys, and we'll tell you guys as we go through the show, the picture that we had on the screen, and I'll bring it back once for you. Who that angler is in that kayak, and the first one to guess it wins a $25 gift card from Trash Panda Decals, and you can purchase your ID card with that. So one more peek. Fish in the net. Who is that? And the first one to guess that, we'll bring that up later if nobody guesses it. If they do, great. But we got a lot of people watching already. So we're going to talk about. And by the way, how are you doing, Steve? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm good, except for my voice. I taught school today. Celebrated the Christmas opening for our town tonight, and now we're going to do this podcast, and my voice has been going nonstop with talking to everybody, so
If at some point it gets too much, just like hit a big tap and then just kill the camera, and we'll all
okay,
know it's over.
yeah, there you go. Anyway, I'll probably have to let you do most of the talking here, but what we're going to do is we're going to talk about getting into the game of kayak fishing, and you and I both got into the game many years ago, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. But what is it like today for someone to get in the game, and what do they need to be aware of, and figuring out the right kayak, the
Hmm.
gear, what they need. Anymore, the more experienced anglers, it seems like it's an arms race. How much stuff
Yeah.
can we get on our kayak before it sinks?
Well,
And
and like you said, like what's it like being a new guy? I think the word that my brain always jumps to is intimidating.
yeah,
Like if I was somebody who wasn't in the game and was just sitting back, especially watching
yeah,
YouTube, I'd be like, man, I can't even fish with any of those people.
yeah. Well, it's like in the '60s. I lived in the '60s. I was a kid in the '60s. Can you believe that? Everybody got a new bike for Christmas, and your bike was like this different model nobody knew of, and you're embarrassed to even go ride with the guys because they have the name brand bikes.
I had
And,
one that was called like Ponchu or I can't even, Pooch.
uh,
It was Pooch. And my uncle gave it to me for free and he's like, no, 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 this is like one of the best bikes that you can have. And I'm like 13 in the 80s, well, 90s. And I'm like, I never heard of a Pooch. Like the only people that knew that was good were the old people. All my
yeah,
friends were like, that's not a mongoose.
yeah. And so, yeah, so you kind of felt intimidated by the other guys that had, and some of them had headlamps on their bikes, and of course the classic was we put a deck of card, we put a card in our fork
Hmm.
and made the motor sound with the spokes, when we were kids. So anyway, kayak fishing can get like that sometimes, but we're going to tell you that don't worry about that, guys.
Yeah,
But
none of
right
that
now,
matters.
yeah, it doesn't matter. The main thing is what gets you on the water to catch fish and
I mean,
enjoy.
that's what kayak fish is about.
Absolutely. So let's ask you what. And by the way, if you guys that are watching, feel free to make comments. Is that Jody Queen? No, it's not Jody Queen. Pretty good guess though. But here's the deal: is that you can chime in anytime, ask a question. We'll try to get to you as much as we can. If you have a comment, feel free to do that because this is an interactive show. Um, we if it's an emergency, we can bring you on live if you want to do that. Okay, so what first got you interested in the kayak fishing, Steve?
Honestly, it was just accessible. When I was a kid, my grandfather would take me out on the water in his boat all the time.
Mhm,
But then all the time got to not be all the time. And I grew up in South Jersey and just surrounded by lakes and ponds, and the ocean was only a couple minutes away. And when I was 8 years old, I went fishing in a kayak with my dad and wanted to keep doing it. So I would drag it behind my four wheeler through the woods, and
mhm.
it was really just accessibility. I mean, it got me on the water. That's all I cared about.
Yeah, cool, cool, man. And anyway, uh, I will tell you that when I got into it, it was because of knee surgeries, 10 knee surgeries, and I couldn't run. And I was looking for something that I could do activity wise. And I rode a bike a little bit, but it just didn't, I don't know, it just didn't feel right. And I did bike a
Hmm.
lot, but when I got my first kayak, I think it was Old Town Sea Otter
Oh,
kayak.
that's a throwback.
Yeah, and it had a little hole in the middle, and I would get in it, and my feet would barely fit up front, and my legs would actually fall asleep in it. And I remember, this is no kidding, guys. I bought it off of eBay in 1997, for like 200 bucks. And then I also bought a book on how to do an Eskimo roll, and I bought a nose plug because I thought I would capsize. And I did get a life jacket too. And I would not very go very far for shore. And I was shaking. And so that's how I got started. But then how I got started in the fishing part of it was when I went out there, I saw these fish that weren't moving. I would go over the top of them, and I didn't realize how stealthy we were
Hmm.
over the top of these fish. So I went back, I brought my pole the next time, and this is no kidding. I caught a bluegill, and it was like I'd caught a giant fish because it actually moved the kayak.
Went
But
for a sleigh ride.
yeah, and so the drug was in the tug at that point, and I was hooked for life on that.
So, so how old were you at that point when you first started kayak fishing?
Well, it'd be almost 30 years ago. So it'd be in my late 30s, I think. I'm pretty sure late 30s.
Well, what made me ask that is you said, you didn't go far from shore. It almost sounded like intimidating at first because it's
Yeah,
unstable.
yeah.
And I mean, I was 8 when I started, and by the time I was 10, I was
Mhm,
taking that thing down to the beach in Fortescue, New Jersey, and
mhm.
launching into Delaware Bay and just
Yeah,
paddling miles. Like I
mhm,
couldn't even see the shore, the bank, the shore anymore. I can't say shore lately.
yeah,
I couldn't even see the shore anymore. I'm just out on
yeah,
the Atlantic
yeah,
fishing in like jeans and a t-shirt and with no awareness whatsoever for how sketchy and dangerous it was.
yeah. And the same was me for as a kid when I had a Zodiac boat in San Diego Bay with a 5 horsepower motor on it. That was
Hmm.
my way of getting on the water then. And I had an old Navy raft as well. But there was no fear except for the fact that this kayak was so little that I thought I was just going to flop right over. And but let's go into like, so let's ask you. So between the two of us, I'm pretty sure that we were both fishermen first, kayaking
Yeah,
second.
100%.
Okay. Now today, would you agree that a lot of guys and gals that get into us are also fishermen first and kayak angler second? I mean, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
kayak
The-
kayakers.
and there's definitely that weird subsect. COVID was real interesting for the kayak industry because there's that weird group of people that they just all went out and bought kayaks, and a lot of people just went out and bought basic sit inside kayaks, and then went and started fishing out of them, just because they're out with their families. So they weren't necessarily anglers from a kayak, but they had like some background in fishing. And then next thing you know, there's just this boom for fancy kayaks and everything else. But
Yeah.
I'd say that the majority of people who fish from a kayak definitely were fishermen first,
Mhm.
and this was just a great way to get off the bank.
Yeah. I know very few people that were kayakers first, paddlers first. Um,
Yeah. I mean, my first kayaking trip was not a kayak fishing trip, but it only took
Yeah,
2 trips in a kayak before I was like, well, I can take a fishing pole along.
right. Yeah, that's kind of how I was too. Yeah. So yeah, uh, the idea of an affordable way to get on the water was what it was, for a lot of
Yeah,
people.
affordable. That's a very
And,
key
and, and I
word.
didn't. It wasn't about the affordability for me. It was just I just wanted to go exercise, and so What I would do is I would paddle the circumference of a lake, and then I would sometimes stop and fish. That was how I got my workouts in. And
Yeah, because it was after knee surgeries, getting the upper body workouts a lot easier.
oh yeah, I actually got to where my t-shirts got real tight in the shoulders because I was just paddling so much.
My
Uh,
t-shirts are tight in the shoulder, but it's not from paddling. Mine are from Little Debbie's and bad decisions.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's so like Steven Sturgeon said, his reason for him is to get off the bank affordably. Yeah, there you go. And a lot of people are doing that. And then
Yep.
so how did your gear evolve from that first kayak? The gear that you took with you. Like for instance, I took just a pair of pliers, a little bag of lures, and one rod. And of course, I had my life jacket. Let's just talk about the gear though that you took. How's that?
Uh, I had I was a sight. So the first kayak I had was like Old Town something. It was a cheap sit inside from Walmart. We had a couple kayaks sitting around the house, and that's just the one I was using. But I
Mhm.
had a like 8-foot surf rod on a lake in a kayak with a mixture of like saltwater and freshwater lures floating around in the bottom of the kayak. But
Mhm.
honestly, no real clue what was appropriate for what. I didn't know what I was catching. I didn't know if what I was casting was the right thing. Because
Mhm.
when we went out fishing on the ocean, it was always bunker and crab and live bait, and I just found kind of like a hodgepodge of fishing lures in my dad's garage and effectively
Mhm.
just stole them and dumped them in the kayak.
Mhm.
I was
Wow.
slightly less organized than I am now.
Wow.
How
So,
about how about you? What did you start out with
well,
when you
just
went
like I
out
said,
there?
the pliers, I just had like a couple lures with me, a fishing rod, and I just didn't take anything else with me. And number one is I didn't have any. I was kind of fearful of losing my fishing rod at first, but then I've never lost one in the 20, almost 30 years that I've been doing this. I've never lost a rod yet.
I
And
only lost two, and I lost them at the exact same time. It was when I flipped my pro angler, which I didn't even think was possible at the time.
yeah. Knock on wood, I have not flipped yet. They say it's not if you flip, it's when you flip. And I've been in some pretty dangerous situations, but it hasn't happened yet. I'm very cautious out in the water, but anyway, yeah, that's how I started. But so do you prefer there's actually four ways you can move the kayak on the water. One is a sail, which you
Hmm.
hardly ever see. There is a gal, God, what's her name? In the Midwest somewhere, she has a sail on hers. Melissa Craig.
Oh yeah, her brother owns Strictly Sail.
Yeah, yeah. So she
Yep.
she does it. But basically pedal, paddle, or motor, if you had to choose one, which one would you choose?
Like if I had to pick one for the rest of my life and I couldn't
One.
have another one,
One.
I'd be paddling the RVR 119.
Okay. If it was me, I would probably pedal because I just love to pedal now. I at one point I paddled 18 years before I even pedaled. So I would say pedal because I can control the kayak and I get more casts per hour in because I love to fish. But
Oh,
if
I'd be complaining the whole time I was paddling. I guarantee it.
Yeah, 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 there you go. Now motor, like I talked to a guy today and he says, "Why do you use a motor, Marty?" And I said, "Well, uh, I'm gonna tell you the answer in a second, but the reason why I use a motor is to get from point A to point B,
Hmm.
far away, and then I don't use the motor after that. I just bring it up and I just pedal around."
See, I've
Um,
got two motors now.
yeah.
So on the PWR 129, I've got the NK 180 and the XI3. And I used the XI3 for everything before.
Mhm.
Now I'm using the NK to move around, and then I'm just out there like a bass boat, dropping my trolley motor down for the spot lock.
Yeah. Yeah.
For a while there, I'd kind of forgotten how to fish without the spot lock. So a
Yeah.
lot of the time now, I just leave it up and just kind of let myself drift and
Mhm.
kind of remember what that's like.
Well, I use human spot lock, which is the pedals, And I do want to say that Trevor Wagner, we already have a winner. It is Garrett Wade. So Trevor, you win the $25 gift card.
Hit me or Marty up and just get me your
Yeah,
email to me, and we'll
yeah.
get you that.
I think I might have Trevor's, but he can email me anyway, Trevor, or message me, and we'll get that to you there. So you'll have one. Trevor's a cool dude, man. I met him at the ramp, and we had some good chats down there. He said,
I'm the worst with names. I honestly, I could have met Trevor, and I might not even remember. So if I have, I apologize.
well, there were several guys the last tournament I was at that said, "You don't remember me?" And I said, "Why? I know who you are." That's all I can say. You
I'm
know,
great with faces and like a lot of times I'll be like, "Hey Trey, like who was that?"
yeah,
And he's like, "How do you not know?" And as soon as he
yeah,
says the name, I'm like, "I knew that."
yeah. So let's ask this. So did you use a boat before you kayaked?
Yeah, not one that I owned or ever drove.
Okay.
I didn't learn to drive a boat until, man, I was probably like 18. Like I got the general concepts, but like the first time I ever like launched a boat and brought it back to the dock on and stuff on my own was probably like 18, 19.
Okay, yes, because I look at the learning curve was you're standing in a boat and then you're sitting in a kayak if you choose to do that. Now remember, when I first started, there was no standing in kayaks.
Me
And
either.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Not well anyway.
yeah, so the angles are all different when you're sitting in a kayak than they are standing.
Hmm.
And now I have sat so long that I don't even want to stand up because the angles are I have all the angles down and it's just motor memory of how I cast. I have a very difficult time standing up in a kayak. Not
The,
balance wise, but just I don't want to do it.
the last couple of years until really last year, I stood all the time, like way more than I ever sat.
Okay.
And then honestly, it's the YouTube camera angles that got me back down in the seat.
Okay.
It wasn't balance or anything else. And when I was sitting all the time to get, for better content, it was messing me up for a while there. And now I almost feel weird in the kayak fishing standing
Uh-huh.
up because I've adapted to being sitting down so much.
Uh-huh.
I just stand up to stretch my legs sometimes now.
Yeah. So how about and you guys that are out there watching, some of the did you make any rookie mistakes that maybe taught you something important?
Um, Honestly, I never had to learn the lesson the hard way. The biggest mistake I made that I could share with everybody is I've been doing this for what's that, like 32 years now, or I'll be
Gee.
41 this month. And for the first 15 years, no PFD. I had one in the kayak, but I didn't wear one. I kind of had that young, I don't need it, I'm invincible, people look stupid, blah, 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 the list goes on.
Mhm.
And I am truly lucky with some of the stuff that I have done and been in some of the sketchy situations that it didn't cost me. So like
Mhm.
I say that's my biggest lesson. I am truly thankful that not wearing a PFD did not catch up with me.
Mhm. You know, my
How about you?
mine mine was tying them down properly so they didn't fly
Ooh,
off the highway. So quick
that,
story, and they would slide around on my trooper, but there was one time I was coming back from Swanson Lake, which is about a half hour to my house, and I'm going down the highway. I come home, and as I'm nearing home, this motorcycle gang's behind me, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, they're gonna attack me!" And it was like a whole bunch of them, and they're like under Harleys, out behind me. And one guy gets, "Hey man, I just want to let you know you lost a kayak about 20 miles back." And
tw-
I look above on my trooper, and I'm like, "My kayak's gone." I didn't know it came off.
that's a long
I
20
didn't know it
miles
came off.
back.
And so I had to go back, and it was there on the side of the road, a little road rash. And
Oh
so it
man,
was all right, but
that
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 was
could have been
a
worse.
funny one. So that's a rookie mistake for me, and although I wasn't a rookie, but kind of a rookie mistake. Make sure you strap down your kayaks well, no matter how it's not windy even, there's
Yeah.
wind blowing when you're driving.
And if you're rooftoping them, put the bow and stern lines on because if you've never seen a kayak bust those J hooks loose and spin,
Oh, yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
sight.
So anyway, that was mine, and then, so what's a safety lesson we could tell somebody wanting to get into kayak fishing? What's first safety lesson?
I mean, the first obvious one's always PFD, but I think something that gets overlooked more possibly even than a life jacket is a first aid kit.
Yeah.
Like a basic first aid kit. with your basic stuff and some super glue in it.
Yeah,
I
me
mean,
too.
again,
Yeah, yeah,
even if it doesn't save your life, it might honestly extend your fishing trip. Because
yeah.
there's been times where I've cut myself up bad enough that if I didn't have super glue and a first aid kit in the kayak, I'd have been on my way home to go deal with it instead of patching it up and going fishing.
Absolutely. I remember Christine Fisher calling me. She used to guide with us, and yeah, Steve Trevor's got one here. Yeah, my wife had my kayaks full out of J hooks. Oh yeah, there you go. I've lost
Yeah,
a lot of J hooks out there and those ratchets on the highway too. But anyway, Christine gave me a call. She said, "Marty, my hand's bleeding really bad." I go, "What'd you do?" Well, she goes, "I had to get my lure back from that pike." So she 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 apparently cut her hand off. I said, "You got any super glue?" She goes, "Yeah." And so she super glued her hand, wiped it off, and super glued it, and kept it from bleeding. And that's I carry it too in my kit, and it does work, you guys, for cuts.
I'd love to go. I got to go fishing with her sometime. She sounds
Oh,
like a trip.
oh, she's awesome, man. She's awesome. Uh, and then another thing lately though is this new dehooker device
Yep.
that's out. I've actually used it once already, and it works good. It works great. Did it myself, and then
So, like I told you down at Lake of the Ozarks, knock on wood, I've never hooked myself. But then
yeah,
I won that dehooker tool on your show, and I know it's going to happen now.
yeah. There you
I've
go.
got it in the kayak, but I just know now that I have the tool, I'm going to have to use it.
Well, one thing I do want to mention for beginners though, safety wise, is keep your head in the center. I used to tell people when I've guided three golden rules: dress or rig the float. That means your life jacket on too.
Yep.
Dress to swim. So if it's cold water, wear a dry suit. If it's whatever water, you dress appropriately for what you have. And
Yep.
number three is keep your head in the center. More, especially lately, I've heard a lot of guys capsizing because they went to reach for a rod that was falling or a fish, and they leaned too far, and then their kayak flipped. So you got
Hmm.
to keep your head in the center. And when you go back to reach into your box, I used to tell them it's like a track and field 4x4 relay. You just reach back like you're getting a handoff, but you don't turn and reach.
Yeah.
You just reach like this. So that's a beginner mistake too, especially in a smaller craft like these little pelicans.
Yep.
Like the guy I saved 2 summers ago up in Omaha. He was on Prairie Queen, older gentleman, had his PFD partially on, and his rod caught on a branch, and he went to go grab it, and he flipped it over, and I was right there, and I had him grab the bow of my kayak, but that was after he flailed around because his life jacket went over the top of his head,
Oh,
and it was a boat
cue
right there.
panic.
Yeah, he panicked, and anyway, we got him saved, and there was a boat nearby too. But that's the first thing he went to grab that rod, and he just flipped right over. So,
You know that's a really good tip, and it makes me think of something. It's 2 point, but we can do it quick.
uh,
I think a lot of it's real easy when you get that bass on, for example, and it's next to the kayak. It would be so easy if you're inexperienced to like lean over, like, "Hey, what's that down there?" And next
yeah,
thing you know,
yeah,
you go over.
yeah,
But what a lot of people don't realize, these modern kayaks have spoiled people. A lot of anglers that are fishing out of kayaks don't understand that there's a primary stability and a secondary
very
stability.
stability, yeah,
Your
yeah,
kayak can have a phenomenal primary stability
mm,
and have nothing for a secondary stability.
mhm,
So, like my pro angler, that thing was incredibly stable primarily. But when it got far enough and it hit where that secondary should come in, it got nothing left and right
yeah,
over it goes. The PWR, like darn near stand on the side of it and it's not going to roll. But it leads into that a great tip. You got to go flip the kayak.
yeah,
Take all your stuff out of it, don't load your stuff down. Go on some trips. Learn
yeah,
how to flip it. Learn how to get back in it. At some point, you're going to flip it. And if you go your whole fishing career in a kayak and you don't flip it, Godspeed. I went
it's
29 years before I flipped for the first time. And when
so
I
far,
did, it's a
yeah.
good thing I had practiced.
Yeah, and guys tell me to practice. I mean, I did practice once on a river, and I tried. I said, I'm gonna see what happens, and then I just turned sideways, and I just fell right out of it, and it was like in a foot of water. So that doesn't count as a capsize. Um,
If you could touch ground, it doesn't count.
yeah. So, but anyway, I do want to say, so an unexpected story, like maybe something that happened that you didn't expect, maybe in your first few trips, anything like that happened.
I got pulled over by a game warden once. He took umbrage with my homemade PVC trailer that I was towing behind the dirt bike. My,
Wow.
so I had been just tying the kayak to the back of the dirt bike or the four-wheeler and dragging it through the woods down the dirt paths to get to the lake. And then I began dragging it down the street to get to the other one. Not
Wow.
the smartest kid. I may have been a crayon eater. But
Yeah.
my dad decides he just takes some PVC and like an axle from, I don't know, could have been like an old wagon or something. And he just rigged up this simple little trailer that I could hook to the dirt bike or the four-wheeler and put the kayak on. It wasn't anything special. And here I am, like 10 years old, going down the asphalt like 40 miles an hour with my four-wheeler, and the kayak's doing this behind me on this janky homemade trailer. And this game warden lights me up. And so I pull over because, you can't run with a trailer on the back. I pull over and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, I'm going fishing. And
Hmm.
he said, "You can't drive a four-wheeler down the road. You can't have a trailer." He's like, "That's not even a trailer. It doesn't have a license plate." I was
Hmm.
like, "Dude, I'm 10 years old." So he followed me all the way back to the house. And then my dad was like, "Yeah, I'll make sure he never does it again," or whatever. And then his advice to me was, next time, don't get caught.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. So one time, another time with Christine, we entered a catfish team tournament down in Kansas together, and we went camping the night before, and there was this guy down there fishing on the shore. She stayed up all night out there and fished with that guy and learned everything she could about how to catch a blue catfish. Unbelievable. And she caught this giant one. There's pictures out there. Anyway, we entered this competition, and we didn't realize that the wind was going to blow 45 miles an hour the next day.
Ooh.
I was back before I was young and dumb and did not figure to have like the Windy app and go, oh, that's what's going to do. This app right here, guys, is really good, the Windy app. And then if you get that deep dive one, that it'll actually give you like these diagram stuff on there. But you guys check the wind before you go out, especially if you're a beginner, man, because that wind can wreak havoc. Well, we went out and we fished anyway. She did flip earlier by the bridge and lost her good rod.
Ooh.
And then I was in a Jackson Kilroy, a cockpit kayak in 45-mile-an-hour winds. She was well, it's hers then, but my original Cuda, the Jackson Cuda, and we
Mm-hmm.
were fishing for blues on these windblown shorelines. We had live shad that we just caught with a cast net, and I was cutting them up, baiting her hook. I was her wingman. She would hook them, and I would net them.
Oh,
And
that's a good way to do it.
yeah, and so we didn't realize it was a guy on the shore taking pictures, and he took some really good pictures. There's one out there of me going these 4 and 5 footers, man, and our bows are into them. And eventually, when we finished, I went to the shore, and it did flood my kayak and sunk it right there. We had to get it drained and all that, but
Mm-hmm.
but that could have been a really difficult situation if I would have turned sideways. So if you're a beginner, keep your bow into the wind. Don't get sideways to those waves because you're going to flip right away on that. So anyway, that's my unexpected story. And then real quick, we're going to get into what a beginner does to get into the game. Maybe you're more experienced too, and you might pick up a tip or two from that as well. So what do you think skill wise for a beginner? What's most important skill wise?
Recovery, probably. Because I assume a beginner is going to flip or fall out of a kayak. And if you're out in the middle of the lake and you're no longer in the kayak and the kayak's upside down, I think that's pretty important. Honestly, as a beginner these days, the two best things you can do for yourself is, before you buy a kayak, go demo a bunch of kayaks.
Right.
And then while you're while you're demoing the kayaks, talk to that paddle shop about who in your area trains.
Mhm.
Because if you can, somebody like Marty, if you can go take a course with him
Mhm.
about different techniques and recovery and safety, you're going to be miles ahead, because those are lessons you're not going to have to learn the hard way.
Right. And I
No?
actually have a curriculum that I use that I created.
Mm-hmm.
I teach
Now, did you create that by learning the hard way?
some of it,
Because
but
I learned the hard way.
yeah, no, well, yeah, it's from years of experience, but I mean, I wrote curriculum for a living, so it's easy for me to do. But the curriculum itself is based on a 4-lesson format,
Mm-hmm.
and I teach a kayak fishing class through the local college. People sign up for it, and then I also do fishing schools as well with that. But teaching basic strokes, things like that, the safety, and then what to bring with you, how to fish it. And I've been doing that for several years.
Missouri Department of Corrections does something like that here too, in
Mhm.
different areas, and I always share it whenever I see it because even if you've been doing it for 10, 15, 20, you can always learn something.
Yeah. So you're saying recovery is the best thing as far
I
as a
think so,
skill.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can paddle wrong all day, but
Yeah.
you
Sure.
can't sink wrong.
Yeah. I'm going to say where your PFD. Well, that's not a skill.
Well, yeah.
That's not a skill.
I
Um,
preached on PFD a couple times already. I figured I'd let it go.
but I would say uh, one important skill that people don't realize is that that I have people that I take out. My kayak is moving. It's still moving. I tell them your kayak is always going to be moving. I don't care if the wind's blowing or not. It's going to be moving. Well, how do you keep yours so still? And I go, it's all in your breathing. And I do this. I start doing. I just
You're doing Lamaze class
yeah.
out
I
on the
do. I
lake.
have fun with them, for a little bit, and I go, no, your kayak is always going to move. And one skill is to understand the drift factor. So as you approach your fishing spot, that you time it so that you're going to stop way before you get over the top of where you're fishing. Because a lot of
Hmm.
times people will stop paddling or pedaling and they'll continue to coast and they run right into where the fish are and they spook them all.
Hmm.
So you got to understand the drift factor and that you are going to move. Get yourself in position. You can get one or two casts in before you do move usually, and then you reset yourself. Setting yourself, it is a skill. It is a skill that you need to practice over and over again when you come up to your fishing areas. And you could be in a river and moving water. You could be on a lake with the current moving because of the wind. Um, but you're always going to be moving, and so practice those positioning moves with your paddle or your rudder or your pedal, so forth.
It's
Guys that
such
know
a
the same thing. Yeah, what's that?
it's such a great tip. Like I've been doing this for so long, I don't even think about that anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
Like it's so instinctive. It didn't when you said
right.
that people are like my kayak is still moving.
Yeah,
It made me laugh because I would never have even thought of that. Like
yeah.
that's something somebody who's new to it would definitely find a little confusing.
Right. So I know was Steven Sturgis, I can paddle backwards. Yeah, you put the brakes on, but you do it real lightly because you don't want to spook fish, you know.
Yeah, you don't want to be like me. You don't want to fly in with the Charlie motor, spin
Yeah,
it 180, and hammer
yeah,
it the other direction.
yeah. Right. He's coming in hot. He's coming in hot.
If bass didn't know I'm here, they do
Yeah.
now.
So what's the most underrated tip you'd give to a new angler? The
Hmm.
most underrated tip.
Do you have one in mind already where you could go first?
Um,
You stumped me with that one. Underrated tip.
use a Nico rig.
Most underrated. You know what? This is going to sound counterintuitive, but I'm going to go with what comes to me. And it's only going to sound counterintuitive
Uh,
because I'm a YouTuber.
yeah.
My, I would say an underrated tip: get off YouTube and go fishing
Yeah. Yeah.
because you could spend so long listening to guys like me talk. And I'll be the first one to tell you in my videos, I don't know what I'm doing. But there's a lot of guys out there that won't tell you they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And when I didn't start bass fishing until almost 4 years ago. I never fished for bass. So when I decided to start targeting bass, I went down an Alex Rudd rabbit hole. And I like Alex, it's nothing against him. But
Mhm.
between Alex Rudd and the other creators, I couldn't tell you how much money I spent on tackle because every next thing I saw was like that magical thing that was going to catch me fish.
Yeah.
And I could have done a lot more for myself if I would have got out of the YouTube environment a little bit and just gone fishing and
Yeah.
figured it out.
Now, I do understand people can learn from YouTube, but here's the deal. You're not gonna catch someone else's fish.
Nope.
You're only gonna catch your fish. Even if you're at a boat ramp and they go, "I just caught them right over there," you're not gonna catch
Hmm.
their fish. You're just not. In fact, I've been out guiding guys and I say, they're casting next to me. They go, "How come you're catching all of them and I'm not catching anything?" And I said, just you gotta do this, you gotta do that. And then they start catching them, but you're just not gonna catch them. Here's the other thing, in those YouTube videos, most creators on there, they will splice the video up and make it look
Hmm.
like they're catching bass after bass after bass, when in reality, it could be 3 hours between those bites,
Yep.
you know?
My content, I really try to go if you watch my channel long enough, it just always seems like amateur hour. And the reason for that is I don't edit to make myself look polished. I'm just I'm the kind of guy that I'm just me. So when people watch my stuff, I want them to get something genuine, and if I can teach
Oh,
them
yeah,
something, great.
yeah, yeah,
But I'll be the first one to tell you, like you said, you can't catch somebody else's fish.
right,
Unplug from the YouTube and go fish.
yeah, and I can't remember what I was gonna say, but anyway,
Sorry.
um, so how how has the because we have a big community now, how has the kayak fishing community, like, affected or impacted your journey in kayak fishing?
Oh my God. Honestly, the kayak fishing kind of changed my life. I've always been a kayak angler. I mean, for more of my life than not at this point. But in the last, really since 2020, COVID cost me my job in 2020. And so I started doing the content creating just to pass the time. And what I ended up in was the tournaments. And so the kayak community is something I was not really a part of for a long time. I was just kayak fishing.
Mhm.
And the kayak community, I mean, it's completely changed my life. I have a business in fishing now I wouldn't have before. Two of the guys in my wedding this May, I would not know. They're my best friends. I would not
Oh,
know Noah and Trey if it wasn't for fishing.
yeah,
It's just I don't know how I ever went through life without kayak fishing, like the community,
mhm.
because I'm honestly a better version of myself with the community to keep me in check,
There you go.
if
Yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah,
How did,
yeah,
what
go
did it
ahead.
do for you?
Well, I do wanna say that, yeah, the friends that I've made that I would never have made, I wouldn't know you, I wouldn't know Trey, I wouldn't know
Hmm.
a lot of guys throughout the country that I've met. I've stayed at people's homes I would have never known. I've fished
It's a
alongside,
wild ride.
yeah. I would have never met Mike Iaconelli in person, you know,
See,
and I
I would like to meet Mike, but I'm afraid if I was around him, my New Jersey would come out because that's what happens with people who are from New Jersey when they get around other New Jersey people.
oh,
The
yeah,
accent comes out. It's like
yeah,
that episode of South Park when Kyle turns all New Jersey.
oh, yeah.
I'll be in the kayak yelling at the fish like Mike.
You know, he took the time to visit with me at a kayak fishing tournament at Susquehanna, and I just met a lot of people that way because of it. But the one thing though is that, um, for many years, I was putting on little minute, middle little tournaments, not just low key ones, guys that get together, but I didn't fish them. I just put them on and I'd paddle around and watch everybody. My kids were in them. I'd help them a little bit, but I just go around and help people. I never entered any tournaments. And for a long time, I said, man, I just hope that somebody will have one so I can go fishing because I just didn't feel right if I was
Hmm.
putting one on and still fishing. Now today I feel differently. I can still fish, but back then I was totally against myself fishing in a tournament with other people. I just wanted to see them have fun and enjoy
Right.
the day. And I was so competitive too. And I was like, man, but I would like go out and help, just help 'em everybody and stuff. But then Ralph Vargas, who's a great guy, he's a colonel in the Air Force. He duplicated what I was doing the same exact tournament. So my first tournament was actually actually it's stuck to the wall there, but the Spooky Bass in 2013, and I got third place. And
Third place in your first event. That's awesome.
yeah, it's right. It's right. Let's see a second. It's right. Uh, you see that wooden plaque right there?
Yep.
That's my first plaque, fishing plaque,
That's awesome.
and I won it on crappie jigs, or I got third on crappie jigs. Anyway,
That's how I always caught bass when I wasn't trying
yeah,
to catch them.
yeah, and it was 27 degrees, and a guy flipped that day too.
Oh, that's a rough day to
Um,
flip. My
and
first fishing tournament ever was with the kayak anglers in Missouri at
uh,
Truman Lake, and it was in I want to say March, so it was cold, and it was my buddy Christian's first kayak fishing event. Like he had got me into it. We weren't it was and it was the All American Classic, so there's people
yeah,
everywhere,
yeah,
and in front of all these people, like 5 seconds from the dock, Christian flipped first
wow,
thing in the morning, and that was a rough day for him, but it
yeah,
was cold. I
yeah.
felt so bad for him.
So anyway, that's what changed for me, and he ended up running a series, and then I got to start fishing tournaments in, and but I still put my own on, but I never fished my own during those times. Um, what role have the clubs that you fished with, how have they affected your growth in kayak fishing?
Oh my God, they've changed my skill set for sure. There's like here in Missouri, especially in like Moyak and Kama, we got some real hammers out there. Like there are some good kayak anglers here in Missouri that have forgot more about bass fishing this year than I will learn next year. And watching those guys and kind of putting yourself up against them and donating to their winnings constantly,
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
you really start to pay attention to like what they're doing. And we
yeah,
got a good group of guys that will guide you if you ask the questions, and they'll
yeah,
show you what they were catching stuff on.
yeah,
It's really just made me a better angler all around.
yeah. And and for me too, it's been I wanted to elevate my skills, so I fished some of the bigger trails, the national trails. You
Hmm.
meet people there that are just hammers. I mean, they're unbelievable fishermen. Like on the last day of the national championship, Garrett Wade asked me to go with him the night before. He says, "Hey, you want to come with me tomorrow?" I said, "You
Hmm.
bet I do. I'd rather go fish with him than try to get at a 15th place by myself." You know. And
Hmm.
so I followed him around and watched what he did, and he gave me one of his lures to use. And here's the thing: you guys that are just getting started, this is the key phrase for the night, I believe. Have a beginner's mindset in whatever you do in life. Have a beginner's mindset. Never
That's
forget,
good advice.
never forget where you came from. I mean, I'm still teaching school as a retired educator, but I still go in with the beginner's attitude. Like, what can I do today that will make a difference in that kid's life? What can I change? What can I learn? And I learn from the kids more than I teach sometimes. Sometimes I'll play an educational game and then they're like, "Hey, can we try this?" I say, "How'd you think of that?" And I don't say things like, "No, we're not doing it that way because I do it this way." I don't ever do that.
No,
I,
you shut off the learning the second
right,
you do that.
right. So that's my beginner's mindset. Even as an angler, last week, Garrett Wade, I followed him, an incredible angler, three-time AOI in Challenge Series. I followed him around, and I learned more in that few hours than I did the entire week from
That's what I
from.
was going to ask you. What's like the one thing watching him that like really stuck with you?
Well, I try to pick things apart, but man, like nothing goes untouched where he goes. I mean, he just knows where. The, those kind of guys have like this sixth sense.
They're
They
fishy.
know, they know. Like, okay, let me tell you this. What I learned. So I go over this little area, and I'm watching my sonar, and it splits, and there's a gap right down below me, and it
Hmm.
goes off in a V. He casted right behind me where I crossed over that and caught a 23-inch bass right where I just crossed over.
Was it
Well,
because you didn't see it coming before you
he
got to it, or is it because you didn't appreciate what you saw?
no, I didn't see it ahead. I could well, I had on 2D. I didn't have live scope, but he knew where that spot was, and he did not have any sonar.
That's what I was going to say. Did he know because of the sonar? He could just tell.
No, he had it triangulated off the shoreline.
That's wicked.
No, that it is. It's like sixth sense.
I don't know what
And,
I'm looking at with the sonar.
yeah, but get this though, he knew that spot from triangulation. All right. He casted right there because he said that was a big fish spot. What he and these guys do is they find big fish spots. A
Hmm.
lot of times I go out and I want to find bites, but you guys that are just getting started and you want to catch big fish, there are big fish spots. He knew where that was and he pulled that 23-incher right out. I was like, oh my gosh.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. And that's how good he is, you know. And I'm not discrediting anybody else because there's the Wyatt Hammond is like the wizard. I mean, he's a Bassmaster champion and the KBF champion this year and wins everywhere he goes. And by the way, Garrett, I said, how many tournaments do you fish a year? And I fished over 60 this year.
Hmm.
He fished maybe 7 or 8. That's it.
You fished over 60 this year?
64 tournaments.
That sounds exhausting.
Well, so now I'm counting weeknights too. So, the league nights. Yeah, I
Yeah.
fished. I fished a lot of tournaments,
Yeah,
and
you do.
some of them were well. Remember, a couple of them were combined. Like 2 and 1, like
Yeah,
piggyback.
double ups.
Yeah, so those count too. But but I fished literally every weekend somewhere and 3 nights a week sometimes. And
That's
try,
awesome.
but he does spend a lot of time in the water. And by the way, he's only been kayak fishing 5 years.
Isn't that crazy?
So
He's just a good angler.
he has the it factor. But I am going to tell you guys though, if you get anything out of this tonight, it's have a beginner's mindset. All right.
Yeah,
And
that's really good advice.
so Steven Sturgeon, who I uh, met down there, he's been following
Yep.
our podcast for a while, and he came up, introduced himself to me. And by the way, I hope my voice lasts you guys. I'm sorry.
You
Uh,
sound fine.
it was his first in-person event. He drove 1,000 miles to catch 7 fish. The people in the house we shared and the people I met made the entire week an absolute blast. That's what it's about, man. That's what
100%.
I
I
ate.
will
Yeah,
I will
go ahead.
tell you I catch 0 fish in the majority of the events I get in.
Uh,
I go to them for the people.
yeah.
Like the Eco 250 is a great example. I have no expectations I'm going to go win 10 grand or a kayak or anything else. It's cool. Like we all stayed in the same house. So like staying in the house with you and Trey and Noah and
Oh, that was
Josh, it's
awesome.
just
Yeah,
so
that was
much
awesome.
fun, man. That's what it's all about.
That was awesome, man. Trey, I can't thank Trey enough for that.
He knocked it out of the park with that
Yeah.
one.
Oh yeah, I mean, I had a jacuzzi bathtub in my bedroom that I didn't know how to use.
Yeah. I told Kelly, my fiance, I was like, we're staying at some house in Lake of the Ozarks, and Kelly was like, is he like breaking into it? Like, because it was all kind of vague how we were getting this house. And so when we got down there, I took a picture just walking down the driveway, and I was like, Kelly, look at this house.
Yeah.
I was like, this is wild. We're living in a whole different tax bracket this weekend.
All right, let me tell you another one. So you guys, you beginners, I had a coach in college, and he said, Marty, you know what you get better is if you play against people that are better than you. You don't,
Hmm.
and I remember that as a coach myself, that I wanted to find the best competition I could find to make myself better. And because I don't like getting beat, but if I got beat, I would always learn something because you win or you learn.
Yeah.
And now I'm not talking about you guys getting into kayak fishing and you got to win everything. No, but but Garrett also asked me that night the 2 nights before. He said, "Hey Marty, you want to have supper with us?" I didn't know who he was talking about. I get there. Who do you think I ate supper with?
I saw the photo, so I've got an unfair
No, that's
advantage.
the New York guys. That was a different one.
Oh,
That was pretty cool too. That was
because
awesome.
I thought I saw a picture with you and Chad and
Yeah,
Wendell and a
yeah.
couple other people.
Oh, that night was epic too. I ate with some guys that they know how to fish. Believe me. Those jerseys they are wearing aren't for show. They won those jerseys. They're called the elite jerseys. Those
Hmm.
guys were a top 5 in their club, and they have a huge club.
That's awesome.
That's how they won those jerseys. They weren't like wearing them for show. That they won those as elite, and they had different years too. But Gare invites me for supper to this barbecue joint. Who do you think I'm eating supper with? Russ Snyder's,
No
Garrett
kidding.
Garrett Wade, Wyatt Hammond, and Justin Faircloth, who was the angler of the year this year. I'm sitting there and
That's quite a group.
I just shut up and listened.
See, and that's just so amazing because that's how we look at you, Marty. When you're around, we shut up and
Oh
we
yeah,
listen. We look
yeah,
at you the
right,
way you look at those guys.
sure. So, but that's my beginner's mindset. And then Wyatt pulled out the jig he was using to catch all the fish. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want that right now. But no, he just showed it to me, and I was like, and the stuff they do, how their techniques, they shared it all with me. Does that mean I'm
Hmm.
gonna catch fit more fish? Maybe not that day, but down the road, that may be something in my hip pocket that I can use. So you beginner guys, the people that are just getting started, listen to these guys that are seasoned. They know what they're talking about, but they're not gonna rub it. They're not gonna try to like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. They just say, this is what I do. That's
Yep.
and but they also will listen to you, like I've had a couple of them say, "Man, how do you fish that Nico?" Even Garrett, I took it out once, and he went back, he goes, show me how you fish that." That's how you get good. That's why
Uh-huh.
Garrett's as he is. He was like, "Show me how you shake it. Show me and so I did that for him when I was out there. So, have that beginner mindset when you're out there. And then, so one more question before we get into what they need to do as far as getting in the fishing game.
Mhm.
What do you think is the best? Oh man, we've been out here 50 minutes. Woo.
Time flies, man.
So, what do you think the best part about? What's the best part about being a kayak angler?
The freedom.
Nice,
The
nice.
freedom. Because I like big lakes as much as anybody else, but I like to go get lost. My
Yeah,
favorite thing is to go. I fish by myself more often than anything else, so
right.
I go upriver where a lot of people might go down. But my favorite thing is to go up rivers, up creeks, just go get lost. If I can find a place with no cell service, I'm
Yeah.
having a good time.
Yeah, that's same for me is just when I find something new, like I'll walk a mile or a mile and a half with my kayak to
Yep.
go fish a pond I've never seen. I found it on Google Maps and I go, I'm gonna go try that. And it's public. And there's nobody else knows about it. And then you catch a 21 incher out of it and you're like, oh my gosh. And then
Hmm.
you just can't wait to get back there again. But just finding new stuff like that is the best part about being a kayak angler. And
And
you're right,
with finding new stuff, a big thing with kayaks is getting in places nobody else can get.
right.
Do not be afraid to go throw hay with your local farmer to get access to that pond that he doesn't let anybody fish. Because
Yeah.
everybody goes up and asks him to fish his pond, lake, whatever. Nobody goes up and says, "Hey, if I help you with hay this weekend, can I fish that?"
Now there is another method. Steve, there is one more method.
Whiskey?
You take your kid with you, your little boy,
Oh,
and
that's
you
a
go,
sleeper agent.
"Oh, yeah." Here's how we had a judge in our town, lived outside of our town. He had, like, a few ponds. He has there's a state record bass in there. I didn't see it, but there was a state record bass caught out of there a few years ago that they didn't certify because he wouldn't let it come off the property. But I go up to his house, knock on the door, said, "My son would like to fish. Do you think we can come out here?" And he goes, "Sure." So we go fishing. We catch some big bass, and then so I went back a couple weeks later with my son again, and I knocked the door again. I said, "Can we come back and fish again?" He goes, "Don't wear out your welcome." So we never got to fish there again. But he
I'm
was
gonna remember that when I have my next
yeah,
kid. I'm be like, man,
yeah,
I can't wait till you're about 3 years
yeah.
old.
So if you bring a kid with you, you'll get on,
That's a
and you
good
won't have
one.
to do quite as much work. But
I say, yeah, I've been doing way too much yard work.
yeah. So anyway, let's get into real quick. And I know we might be going a little bit longer here, but
It's all
it's
good.
okay. People that will listen to us on a podcast, I think they'll enjoy it. The tips we have here, maybe that might help somebody that's getting into the kayak fishing game. Um, but the key right now, I think the first thing is, starting with the right kayak. What is the right kayak? We've been doing these yak offs, the yak off awards with Kayak Angler magazine, and it seems like every angler on there, their kayak build is made for what their needs are.
Hmm.
So you don't like I run Kayak Buy Sell Trade. I have 120,000 members on it, and we get about 100 listings a day on there minimum. And people go on there. I don't know which kayak to buy. Well, what is the most beginner-friendly kayak you can purchase or get? I'm gonna ask you. I'm see if you know.
So,
No wrong answers.
here's my answer. I'll keep it real clean. If you're just gonna go sight unseen, buy
Yeah.
a kayak, and you just want it to be good for everything, go get a bona fide RVR 119. The correct answer for me is to go demo. But when you go demo something, just make sure it's a bona fide.
Okay. All right. Well, you got a brand.
I do.
Um, so kayaks that are beginner friendly, I want to say this: stability matters more than speed.
Oh yeah,
All right.
100%.
Now, I love speed, but stability is way more important, you guys, than the speed. So get one that's stable, that's wide, get in it. And remember too that I want you guys to remember this, that just because you get in it and you're shaking all over is because your body's not used to it. So let yourself
Hmm.
calm down, get used to it, paddle a little while, and then see how it is. Too many people give up on a kayak right away because they're shaking so bad because their body has not I'm trying uh,
It's not acclimated.
acclimated to the kayak. So give yourself that chance. Get yourself a stable kayak. And if your budget allows, test drive before you buy, just like you do a car.
Yep.
You got there's people, guys, if you get on Facebook and you reach out to me, I'll find you somebody in your area. And
I'll put you in my kayak.
yeah, and but get in a couple different kayaks, find out what you like,
And
and
when you demo them, take a rod and some tackle with you. Your local paddle shop, like your true kayak shop, they're gonna let you try and fish from that thing,
yeah.
because there's a big difference between paddling a couple circles and being like, yeah, this feels good, and
Mm.
putting a fish in a net next to the side of the boat.
And
Take a rod.
I do want to say that there's so much there's so many more options today than were when we started. You
Oh my
know,
God,
I sat,
yes.
I sat below the water line with my butt itch all day from being wet. See, now they have these captain chairs that are better for your back and how you sit and everything, posture.
Well, and now they have yak attack. There's actual accessories now. Like
Yeah,
we started kayak fishing. If you wanted a rod holder, you drilled a hole in a kayak and retrofitted one or a piece of PVC. There was no buy the parts and build the kayak. There was go out in
right.
the garage and figure it out.
Right now, you see that picture?
I do.
All right. Do you see that little green thing going off the side?
Uh-huh.
What is that?
I can't tell. I'm on my cell phone though.
Okay. Anybody know what that is?
I can't
That
tell.
is that is a snorkel.
What? Okay, now I got to ask, what's the snorkel doing?
That's where I ran my cable through with my transducer.
Oh, that's clever.
All right.
That's real clever.
That is in 2004. That's
Man, I
2000.
wish I still had pictures from like I
That's
I
that
was
I don't
so
have very
bad
many.
about keeping track of that kind
That,
of stuff. I wish I still
that
did.
was well, that was a Walmart disposable camera that I gave a boater to take a picture of me holding that wiper.
That is awesome. I
Anyway,
wish I still had a picture. I fished out of a Dagger whitewater kayak for
yeah.
quite a while, only
Uh-huh.
because I thought it looked cool. I just liked the colors and stuff on it. And we would go striper fishing in the
Yeah.
cold weather, in the ocean, in this Dagger. We were
There you go.
idiots.
There you go. It's, Steve said the first sniper pole. You're right. And it was a little tiny
Yeah.
fish finder, like about yay big, that had little specks in it. But I was mainly using it to find the bottom, how deep it was, so I could set my I had a Carolina rig on. But
Hmm.
anyway, I ran that cable and I pulled the transducer up and then I taped it up on top so it wouldn't fall down any further. And that's how I used my first transducer on a kayak.
You want to hear
And
a genius hack for a canoe? So it's not kayaking, but we used to go on these float trips, like multi-day camping trips.
yeah,
And my dad would take his Coleman canoe because him and my stepmom could carry like all this gear in there. And she
yeah.
was not a good canoeer. And when she would try to paddle, it would just turn bad. He'd end up upside down. So
Oh
this
man.
man took a stop sign and cut it up and modified it into a motor mount on the back of the canoe to put a regular, tighten down
Wow.
transom trolling motor on it. And then he took a wooden paddle and cut it to about that long and gave it to my stepmom. And he would drive all day with that trolling motor and steer with a kayak paddle. And the rule with her paddle is it wasn't allowed in the water because it wasn't long enough. It was just
Yeah.
for whacking at spiders when he'd
Oh,
run her through trees. So
oh
he'd crank
wow.
that trolling motor up going down the river and he would just take the kayak paddle and steer this canoe.
Wow. Wow.
It's a great
So
marriage hack. They didn't fight anymore about the
absolutely.
canoe.
But here's the thing though. Don't worry about trying to purchase the perfect kayak.
No,
You know,
you never
no
will.
kayak's gonna be perfect. Your first one, here's what we're gonna recommend here, and tell me if you agree with this, Steve. Stable, safe, and is it functional for fishing?
Yeah. Um, I would add in storage
Where you
because
can
if you get a
store it?
kayak that's got no dry storage or like that fake dry storage that's not actually
Oh, yeah,
dry,
okay. Okay.
that can ruin a fishing trip real quick.
Well, you can
But
add storage too, yeah.
that's true, yeah.
Okay, so, I wrote down some stuff here, 500 to $1,000 range, uh, a wider hole, 32, 36 inches. Bring your tape measure with you if you have to.
Hmm.
And good seat comfort. You want to have one that's comfortable. So those are things you can do to start with the right kayak. Now, next we're going to talk about keeping your gear simple. So many people bring so much gear with them, and then when they do have something happen, they lose it all and they got to start over again. So you don't need a full tournament setup like Garrett Way. But what all you need is 1 to 2 rods. Maybe two. Like I bring a lot of times a Nico and a chatterbait. Just to see a small tackle bag with proven basics. Now safety gear. I'm going to ask you 3 things you'd bring for safety gear right off the top of your head. 3 things.
Manual bilge pump.
Okay.
What else do I have in there? Manual bilge pump, fire starter, whistle.
Whistle.
Yeah, I keep a whistle in my
Oh,
PFD.
and your
I've got a
PFD.
manual like flint striker fire starter and a
Okay.
manual bilge pump. Get yourself out of a lot of trouble with those 3.
The main thing, though, I was trying to get you to say was PFD too.
Listen. I harped on that PFD a lot in the beginning. Every
I
time
know.
I say PFD, Trey calls me a kayak Karen and tells me to sit down. So let's
Okay.
try not to harp on it too much.
It's time
All
for
right.
bed.
Oh, my wife just said it's time for bed. Did you hear that?
I did.
Sorry, I'm staying up late. Okay, happened last night too. Same time. She goes, "Time to go to bed." Nope. I know I got to teach tomorrow, but we got a show to do. Uh, the other thing is dry bag with your anything that's valuable that you want to keep afloat or keep dry.
Yep.
I
I've got three dry bags in my kayak.
Some people use a paddle leash. I don't use one,
I don't
but
either.
it is a good idea. Maybe like if you're in heavy surf, things like that, so you don't lose it.
A phone leash is a good idea. I do use that.
Phone leash, absolutely, and then a rod leash. But I only use my rod leashes. I clip them when I'm not using them. Otherwise, I don't use a rod leash. Some guys put foam deals on their rod. I don't do that. I've never lost one yet. It's like so. Yeah,
I
we
don't
should,
even clip them when they're in the rod holders half the time.
yeah. So and you'll add. Here's the deal, guys. You'll add more gear as you learn your fishing style, what you need to bring.
And you'll
And
add more and take it away.
yeah,
Couple
right.
couple times a year or every other year, you'll take one look and go, I got too much in here, and
Yeah,
purge it right back down. I did it the other day.
yeah. And I know when I fish tournaments, the first practice day, I might bring my full arsenal, and then after that day, I kind of break it down to okay, what's the best 3 or 4 presentations that worked, and by the time I get to tournament time, I want to have 1 to 3 things that I'm going to use effectively. That's it,
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
kind of how I am.
And then you want to have a versatile rod with you that you can put about anything on, and that's usually a spinning rod for me. But now learning basics of control is important for a beginner. It separates beginners from confident anglers. When I'm teaching the class, I tell people we got to learn how to paddle before we fish because
Yeah.
if you can't paddle, you can't fish. I mean that's how it is.
And if
Um,
you're going to be on rivers, you need to learn how to read a river before you ever try to fish.
Absolutely, and that's a whole different animal here. But
Yeah, we could go down a rabbit hole on that
yeah.
one.
But paddle in a straight line as much as possible. A 10 foot or longer kayak will generally track straight. If you're fishing an 8 foot kayak, you're going to be going like this, no matter what you do.
I've never even tried to fish out of an 8-foot kayak, but I don't
It,
even like fishing out of a 10-foot kayak, so
yeah.
I know I wouldn't like it.
And 10 foot is pushing it. 12 foot's your optimal length, guys. 11 to 12 foot, 12.6. Holding your position in the wind is something you want to work on, and then anchoring safely. I used to anchor with the in that. By the way, when I was fishing in Christine on that Milford Lake, I had a quick release anchor.
Hmm.
A noodle at the top of it, and I could release it, and the rope would float, and the anchor would stay where it's at, so I could go back to that spot.
Yep.
But guys that anchor with their anchor off the side of the kayak, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm not a big fan of the anchor
yeah,
trolley system.
yeah. I do like the anchor trolley system to put it in the back of you or the front of you.
A
But
lot
here's
of guys run that anchor trolley short of the bow and stern, though.
I
And
don't.
yeah, I've seen a lot of that in the last couple of years.
Oh,
If
really?
you can point it off the front or back with the trolley, that's great. But a lot of guys are just limiting themselves to a couple feet on the side.
Yeah. I generally don't anchor much. Now on the river, if you want to slow yourself down, you can get. I have a bunch of chains, and you can use an anchor trolley with that. Anchor wizard off the. You want to bow or stern, but I'm not going to get into too much of that tonight because really, guys, don't anchor. Just go out there and fish, man. That's how I am. And then you can take a your fish grips or the lanyard on it, and you can attach to a branch to keep yourself still, maybe. But be careful of that too.
Hmm.
But okay, and then number 4 I have is safety comes first. Um, Kayak fishing is a lot of fun. We both know that, right? I mean, it's fun.
Yeah, but I want to be able to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, but it's water based and it's unpredictable. It's very unpredictable. It's
Turns
never the
on you in a
same.
second.
Can you say that any trip's ever been the same?
No, it's like that saying: you never fish the same river twice.
Right. Where your PFD, no exceptions. No exceptions. No,
100% of the time.
guys, I, I've seen too many bad things happen in the past month even. Um,
And
guys
we're
losing,
coming into that cold weather.
yeah,
If you have a float suit, you still need a PFD. It is
yeah,
not a replacement for a PFD.
right, right. Check the weather before you go. Always check the weather. This is
Hmm.
about safety. Keep a dry set of clothes in your vehicle. Now, I will tell you, if you get wet, one of the best things you can do is strip everything off and have a towel ready and wipe yourself off. Get in the car and turn the heater on. Or like I have a propane heater out that I can use outside. I also have a propane heater for my kayak as well. But if it would tip, I wouldn't. I'd have it at shore. But have that extra set of clothes, but get out of that wet stuff right away if you can. I even have one of those survival sleeping bags
I do too.
that
I,
you can put over the top of you.
I actually keep a change of clothes. I have two sets. I got one that stays in the Jeep with a wool hypothermic blanket, and then I've got the same thing in the kayak. And
Yeah,
that's just because if I'm miles away from the Jeep, that the dry clothes in the kayak can make a big deal. And then when you get back to the Jeep, change into the other ones.
yeah, yeah. And then a float plan. So you tell somebody where you're at, what time you're leaving, and maybe if you can't tell somebody, you might have something under your windshield wiper that says, "Hey, I'm out fishing. I'll be back at 3." Now, of course, people that want to ransack your vehicle, you don't want to do that. That's in a bad area, but you do want to let someone know where you're at. Now, my wife has me on her whatever she does on her phone. She
Life
knows,
360.
yeah, she knows where I'm at all the time. So,
Hmm.
um, because for years I wondered why she always had supper ready when I got home, and I'm like, how does she do that? And but anyway,
I don't always. I try to tell if Kelly's awake, I'll tell her. I make sure my buddies always know where I'm fishing that day when I
yeah,
plan to get done.
yeah,
Because
good.
sometimes Kelly's asleep, and that Kelly knows if she doesn't know where I'm at or can't get a hold of me, she can always pick up the phone and call Christian. Guarantee he knows.
Yeah. And then, as we mentioned earlier, self-rescue techniques. Um, uh, train yourself properly. There is a K-Fast uh, learning module coming out that you guys. It's going to be like $25. You go through a safety course because remember that kayak fishing has grown so fast. It's grown beyond the safety factors
Oh, 100%.
and the education that goes with it. So what KFAS is going to do is bring that back together. And then there's also going to be modules where you can actually train people and you can actually get paid for doing this later down the road. But right now, I would recommend as soon as it comes out, take the course with the KFAST.
It's such a great idea.
Darren Windle's one of the spearhead guys of that. Chad Hoover's.
Hmm.
They're putting
It's a
that
very,
together.
very good idea.
I helped edit it with Jeff Little as well and a couple other guys. And it's clean, it's good stuff, and it'll help you uh, with survival if something would happen.
Do we have
So
an ETA on that when they're releasing it?
any day, it's any day. They
Okay.
they just finished all the video stuff, but it's any day. It'll be out. The website's up.
Yeah, I knew the website
They
was
said
up.
they let me know as soon as it's out. Um, and then start on small protected waters, guys. You don't need to go out, in a gigantic Guntersville Lake right away. Maybe pick a cove, um, a small lake or a pond, like I did. I started on a 50-acre lake when I started kayak fishing, and I was real close to shore.
Hmm.
Uh, Quiet coast, a slow-moving river. If you're a beginner, you don't want to go on the Susquehanna the first day. That's not a good idea.
No, you
Or
don't.
the Upper Mississippi, or the Missouri River. Don't even think about it. Uh, and then you could go to a marina in low traffic days, like a weekday. Avoid big winds and waves and fast currents early on. You know, those things are key. But just start small. out there. As far as lures go, simple. Keep it simple. What do you think, Steve? Like a wacky worm or a Nico,
I think everybody should start with a chatterbait.
chatterbait, spinnerbait, uh, a Texas rigged worm I have, maybe a small swim bait. Now you can start with a topwater popper, but I don't like giving beginners treble hooks.
Yeah, I know
Um,
that's probably a bad idea. I don't trust myself with treble hooks.
I got to tell you a story on that. So I'm taking this very wealthy couple out. I was guiding them out in Southwest Nebraska. I was guiding them, very wealthy couple out of Texas. They drove up in this giant, nice Suburban, and they had booked a trip with me. And we go out there, and of course the guy goes, I go, hey, here's some stuff. He goes, I have my own stuff. I know what I'm doing. Okay, all right, man. He goes, just help my wife fish. Okay. So she's just blonde. She's got blonde. She's got a pigtail about a foot and a half long behind her. And we're fishing out there, and she's got a pop R, and she's hammering the bass with it. In fact, look, honey, look what I've got, like a five. She's catching big bass,
Uh-huh.
and he's pretty soon he comes over like a whip pup, and he goes, okay, I'll do it your way, because the gals always listen, man, when they're out there. And so I give him some stuff to use. He goes over and fishes. Anyway, she goes to cast, and she catches the pop R in her ponytail or pigtail in the back of her, behind her.
Oh,
She goes, "Oops!" And I go, "I got it. I'll fix it." And the whole time, pretty much most of the day, she was on her cell phone, just like jabbering with all her friends. It was driving me nuts. And 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 it finally went dead. It ran out of juice, and so she had to fish. So she's anyway. I should have put that before, but she catches this popper in her pigtail. So I go over. I'll take care of it, and I go. I'll get it out. And so I'm back there, and and I go. Whoops! And she goes, "What happened?" I go, "I didn't mean to, but I cut your pigtail off." But I didn't really. She's screaming. Anyway, that was my payback for her being on her cell phone all day.
I thought you were gonna say she like whipped it into the side of your head or
No,
something. That's even
anyway,
better.
oh man, it was fun, and she laughed a little bit afterwards. But
Afterwards, yeah.
yeah, I got her good.
As a
Uh,
guy who once had long hair, I can understand how that would
yeah,
give you some panic.
but that was a good story there. Anyway, the other thing is, join the community somehow. Get involved with either. I'm not saying it has to be a club, but maybe a group. Find an online group maybe that's in your area that you can chat with. Don't get involved in the drama stuff. Just stay away from that. Just go fish. I
Yeah,
just
there's a lot of drama in fishing
Yeah,
these
there
days.
is. Uh, attend a demo day. There are like we have events that have intermediate and advanced, so people don't feel intimidated, and they're like $8 to get into. I would not recommend going to a league night that you're paying 25-30 bucks in, and you're going to get your butt kicked by 20 other people.
Yeah,
Don't.
no. Go do
But
something fun.
or you say, hey guys, I want to be in this league night, but I'm not going to enter this week. I just want to watch you guys fish and see how you do it. That's one of the best ways to get involved. Instead of going there, spending 30 bucks and going, man, I could have gone to McDonald's and had 3 Happy Meals, over that.
And been a lot happier.
A lot happier. So,
I've never been sad with McDonald's French fries.
yeah, no kidding. Quarter pounder and French fries, man. I know
Oh,
vanilla.
sounds good.
That sounds good right now. So anyway, you know, don't like. I'm just recommending don't spend all your money on these events. Then you feel discouraged and you don't want to go back. We had a girl this year, just graduated last year, and her dad's a stick. You might know him, Tyler Alexander.
I do.
Yeah, his daughter, and her name's Abby. He wouldn't mind me telling the story. And she wouldn't either, but she fished our high school one and did okay earlier the year. But she had fished a little bit. Her dad had been taking her out a little bit in the kayak. Well, she fished our catch all you can in the intermediate division.
Hmm.
And first event, she had 90 something inches, and she goes, "My goal is to get 100 inches of fish, 8 hours, 7 hours, whatever it was." And in the last tournament, she did, and not only did she win that day, she finished. I won that tournament. She finished second overall among everybody.
That is awesome.
And her dad, Tyler's helping her a little bit. He didn't fish for her. She caught her own fish. But I remember her saying out there, and he told me, repeated this. She goes, Dad, if I just let it sit a while, I'll get bites. He said, that's dead sticking, you know. So she learned that on her own, but she ends up winning the AOI for that division, and now she can't wait to go out. You
That is
know,
awesome. What a proud dad moment
yeah,
too for
oh yeah,
him.
and you know, for $8, and she won a bunch of little prizes, you know, and stuff. Got to take home the AOI title for the year. That's pretty
That's so
cool.
cool.
Oh, good story. So
For a couple
anyway,
of bucks.
you bet, yeah,
And that's the thing. Kayak fishing is supposed to be affordable and accessible. So don't go broke trying to do it.
yeah.
You can make it as expensive as you want, but don't.
And I'm going to say you can ask questions on social media, but sometimes people will make fun of you. Don't worry about those people. They're just keyboard warriors sitting in the basement eating Cheetos, living in their mom's basement. So don't worry about
Half of
those.
those people don't even have a
Yeah,
kayak.
they don't even fish. So don't listen to that stuff. You might find somebody that might reach out to you on Messenger. That's okay. You know, have a conversation, and maybe they'll introduce you to some friends that way. But fish with experienced anglers. Find as
Yep.
many experienced ones as you can. A couple of them. There's women, men, older guys, younger guys, kids even that will help you. We have a kid here that helps other kids all the time do that.
Look,
And then
Charlie Sanders. That's what I mean
absolutely,
with 4-H and everything else. Yeah.
yeah, you'll shortcut years of trial and error that we had to go through before we became proficient in this. And by the way, like I said, have the beginner's mindset every time out. You know, try to learn
Always.
something new. Last and final, Steve, is don't compare your start to somebody else's middle.
100%.
All right. Don't compare your start to somebody's middle or maybe even their end near the end. Some anglers have 4,000, $20,000 rigs. You know, you look at Austin Hoover's rig, it's 21 or 22,000.
Yep.
Well, that's what he likes. He does that, and he's really good at it. But remember that those little cheap paddle kayaks, they can still go in circles. They can still help you catch fish. Remember that. Don't
Yep.
worry
And
about
I will tell you guys, I don't consider myself a single dad anymore the last couple of years here, but my daughter will be 14 this spring. I was
it.
a single dad, lived paycheck to paycheck. I'm not a guy sitting on a bunch of money, and I'm cheap. So if you want to learn how to have the good setups, cheap, and the tips and tricks and stuff, my YouTube's the kind of place for you because that PWR sitting in the garage,
Yeah,
it looks real fancy from the bank, but
yeah,
there's a lot of frugal in that kayak. You don't have
absolutely,
to go broke doing it.
absolutely. So your your goal as a beginner is very simple. I'm gonna let you guys know this. Be safe. Number one, be safe. Number two, learn your boat. Learn your craft that you're in. Learn it, whatever you're gonna do with it. Learn how to use it. And you know, for me, I have a lot of kayaks, of course, but because I guide with them. But I have one kayak that I especially like has over 900 trips in it. It's like part of me when
Is
I'm
that the
out.
Outback?
Yeah, the Outback. Over
Yeah.
900 trips. Big cracked it. I've done. I'm switching holes this year, but I want to tell you guys that it's just like it's part of my body when I'm on the water. That's how well I know it. And you want to be able to that. But most of all, when you go out, you got to have fun. Even if you don't catch anything, you got to have fun. And then
Oh yeah, it's about being out there. It is not
yeah,
about catching fish.
and kayak fishing is a journey. It's not a race. It's not a race.
Mhm.
So I want to go to this, Steve. Anything else you want to add to that?
I wrote down one little thing when you were talking about safety. I want to hit on
About what?
um, on safety. I just wrote a little note while you were talking about the safety bullet points. Don't assume that the boats can see you. No matter how many
Oh yeah,
flags, lights, whatever else you got, don't assume they can see you because most of them can't even see where they're going.
yeah, yeah. You're right. You want to think ahead a little bit on that.
Hmm.
Uh, so here's a few slides. Number one is our Sportsman's Expo, which Crash Panda decals will be at. Uh, we have a lot of great vendors there, lure makers. Eco Fishing Shop will be there. We have seminars. Yeah, that's a good one, Stephen. If you having fun, you can't spin out. I see a lot of people spin out all the time because they have.
Yeah,
And by the way, I do want to say this too, Stephen. When I go out, my goal is to catch one fish.
always one fish.
And then, but if you go out and say, I got to get five, it just overwhelms you. one fish,
Nope.
and that gives me a pattern when I catch that one. Then I can catch
Hmm.
more. Then I go for my limit. Then I might go for a couple upgrades. I don't even think about winning until I've got those upgrades, and I go, okay, I'm in the hunt. Now I got to go for the win. But
My goal is to always get the skunk off.
yeah, there you
Skunk
go.
off and have fun.
Get a bite. Get a bite.
And
Um,
pay attention to what's going on around you, because when you're looking at your phone or you're too locked in on the fishing, you'll miss the 8 point buck standing on the shoreline drinking
yeah,
and all kinds of other cool stuff. So take it all in, man. It's about so much more than fishing.
yeah. So we have the Sportsman's Expo. It's our third one. Uh, there's going to be a kayak show. We're giving away a lot of stuff, guys. There's one guy, Michael Thomas, giving away a kayak with a fishing rod, gear. We have a life jacket with it, hopefully there. But plan on that. My voice is going, guys. Uh, Malone Auto Racks is sponsoring that show. Just by entering, um, you can win a Malone prize. We don't know what they are yet, but she's going to send us some prizes. So we will have small plaques for the winners of best of show, things like that. But don't be if you've got a small pelican and want to enter it, enter it. That's okay. And then, we don't share pictures of people that aren't wearing life jackets. Sorry, guys. If you post on my any of my stuff and you're not wearing one, I'm gonna delete it.
Yep,
I'm sorry.
out of here. No wear,
No,
no share.
I'm not trying to control you, but I'm trying to set the standard of saving lives by wearing it. We're not telling you you have to wear it. That's your choice, but you're not going to get on my page. Sorry.
100%.
I'm just going to say that. And then watch the yak offs. That's man, these guys are. I'm putting together an article. I almost have it done where you can go in and you can see these builds and see what they've used for accessories. But don't get caught up and you got to have all this stuff. These guys have been doing this for a while, a lot of them, and they have some incredible builds of what they've
I,
done.
I love my PWR, but I drool every time I look at Romel's.
Yeah, Ramel, he's got a foot steering disc that he can stand up and he just steers the kayak with his foot. And
It's wild.
he has brakes on the back that are voice activated.
I
It's
didn't even know about that.
oh yeah, he says Siri breaks down and then they go down.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then here's a short video. This is back in the early years, just to give you this was the best time of my life right here. I want to tell you guys, no one had ever set foot in this area. No one ever fished it. It was only accessible by a kayak because there was so much silt on the outside. You could not get a boat in there. I was the only one that's ever fished it. Watch what happens. Now, you see how I got in position?
Hmm.
Right there. Now, that was a 50-acre lake that was just loaded with bass, but
How can anybody watch that and not want to go kayak fishing?
I get teary-eyed watching it because it brings back so many memories for me.
That is
Um,
awesome.
and that right there is kayak fishing, people. Um,
That's everything it's about right there.
yeah, and that stick that's holding that was the first GoPro cameras that came out.
That's wild.
I had one, and that is a painter's pole modified,
Oh, that's a good idea.
yeah, to hold it. And then here's yours. This one's an adrenaline rush one with Steven here catching smalls.
It was more clear than I was expecting. I thought with all that rain we had got that it would be muddied up more. Oh! Got him. He came at it twice and missed it. Come here. First cast with the Chapo. My first fish of the day. And what a cool way to get it too. Oh, look at that, guys.
Oh,
Look at that,
Frank, what a
Christian.
great YouTuber he is.
That's a good question. We should check.
So there you go. And then one of the best parts is the sunset. You get done, you look out there. That was Gunnersville last week, by the way, the ramp I was at. But
The
both
best
those
days are when you
videos.
can watch the sun come up and go down from the
Oh,
kayak seat.
absolutely, yeah,
That
that
is
was
the
a lot.
best days.
So you guys, um, I just want to let you know that this whole night was about helping, hopefully, beginners as well as advanced, and having the attitudes that you have towards kayak fishing and oh, Trey got on here. It looks like too.
He was
Some
at a
guys-
game ignoring us. I'm surprised he made it.
yeah, but some guys had to go. We understand that, but you can watch it later, maybe or watch the recording when we get it posted. But those two videos right there are what it's about, man. And
Yeah. And if you're in Missouri and you're looking to get into it, but it's intimidating, hit me up. I'll take you out. I'll put you in one of my kayaks. We'll have a good time.
Same with me in southeast Nebraska right now, where we're at. I will even go play when I go places. I meet people and stuff like that.
Mhm.
A Trey goes, I can enough of Steve every day.
He is my favorite troll.
Yeah,
He is so good for engagement on my content because he'll come in and troll me and get
yeah,
other people fired up.
I got it.
I love that guy.
Oh, Trey, thanks for being. Did he go to a game tonight? You said.
He was at a Mizzou game of basketball, maybe.
Oh, nice, nice. So anyway, guys, that's that. What do you think, Steve? You think that we covered a lot of stuff for people that want to get into kayak fishing?
Man, I wish I had a podcast like this when I was thinking about getting into kayak fishing.
Yeah, cool.
I think we did a good thing.
Yeah, and we had some good comments there as well. And then I'm going to try to do some this year and focus on the people that are just getting into it because we want to avoid that intimidation and have them feel comfortable about doing it. Because most of the places that you go to buy a kayak, the people don't know anything about what they're selling. I'm sorry to say that, but that happens a lot.
Yeah, quality paddle shops are getting harder to find.
Yeah. Now, there is a select sell in Kearney, Nebraska. James Fott has a nice little store down by St. Louis, isn't it? That area?
Yeah, Midwest Kayak.
Midwest Kayak.
Yep.
Eco
If you're
Fishing
at Georgia,
Shop.
Festive Water Paddle Sports.
Yeah. Eco Fishing Shop down in Camden, Missouri is a
Yep.
good one. There. I recommend those places. The dugout down there by Georgia. I don't know a whole lot of them, but you can find them. But the other thing is just find an experienced kayak that'll help kind of take you under their wing and help you out a little bit. I even do a trip called Tournament Fishing 101 where I take guys out and we simulate a tournament for them so they feel comfortable getting into one. And
Your yearly the catch for 25, your yearly one that you do is a great one for people that want to practice using a catch board and uploading and all that stuff. Keep track of their yearly total.
Yeah, it's $5 to enter. You can win a kayak cushion. The only thing is, it's the last 3 years I'm the only guy that's made it, but we have a guy that needs like 80, 88 more.
He's almost there.
Clayton Westgate. He's almost there. And David Hutzel moved him to third today. It's not about the placing on that, though. It's just a challenge of catching the 2025 bass. which I'm going
Yep.
to tell you guys, it's hard. It's harder you think.
Yeah,
But
I've got a little over 1,000 on there,
yeah,
and I need to go through all my pictures and get the rest of them uploaded. I don't think I'll quite make it, but I'll get a little closer.
it gives you a way to record your fish too that you caught that year. But we've been on here an hour and a half, and I think a lot of people have stayed with us this whole time.
That's awesome.
My voice obviously has not. It's going fast.
You
And
have been a trooper.
yeah, thanks. Hopefully it's repaired by tomorrow, or I'll just hold up signs for the kids when I'm teaching. I'm teaching science. I'm teaching fifth grade science tomorrow.
Marty's teaching sign language tomorrow.
Sign language and science tomorrow. Uh, but I just enjoy that. I don't need to teach or anything like that, but I just love being in schools, a little bit during the winter when I'm not fishing. And Steve, thank you so much, man. You've been good for this show, and I thought you were the perfect person to ask to
Thanks,
join me.
man. I appreciate you having me on.
And we look forward to maybe doing some more stuff in the future. In the meantime, though, I want to tell everybody thank you for being here. Our winner was who was it? Trevor Wagner. He and we're looking forward to seeing all you guys in the water this year. I'm going to start some music here, man. We're gonna and get some Lazy River. There you go. Anyway, we'll see you guys another time in the industry.